All right, welcome back to another wonderful, exciting episode of Exploring the Blueprints of Your Life with Debbi Coleen, Eastern and Western Astrology Considered. And this is a process we're going to use to kind of look at the patterns of our lives. And it is the year of the sheep coming up here. We are February 13th, 2015, and the new year is starting in a couple of days, the Chinese New Year. And that'll be year of the sheep. So year of the horse is ending, year of the sheep's beginning. We did a whole show on what that meant. And so you can go back and listen to that on lgrcc.com. The show listings will give it to you, or you can go directly to the YouTube channel, of course. But we are going to specifically look at today, if you were born in the year of the rat, the ox, the tiger, or the rabbit, and what that means to you in a year of the sheep. And previously we did look at what each one of those meant in the year of the horse. So now we're looking at the influence of the sheep on people as they are, because in the Chinese astrology, each person you're born in a certain year. And there's actually a formula, and I'll ask Debbi about that. There's a chart or something that shows specific years and what animal in the Chinese astrology that relates to. But specifically, we'll get into rat, ox, tiger, and rabbit today, and then we're going to do another show and talk about some of the other, because there's 12 animals altogether in the Chinese astrology. So we'll get right into this right now. Welcome, Debbi. Thank you for joining me once again.
Thank you, Catherine. Great to be here. I'm interested to talk about these first four animals in the Chinese zodiac and discuss what they're going to be seeing for themselves in this year of the sheep. Year of the green wooden sheep is what we're looking at in 2015. And Chinese New Year's is February the 19th this year. So very quickly, we're going to be moving out of year of the horse and into year of the sheep. In fact, that transition has already begun, and people will start to feel the harmonizing and peaceable effects of year of the sheep already, probably.
Right.
I know I am.
Yeah, I've been noticing some of the other influences since the beginning of January. So, and now over this last couple of days, I definitely noticed a different kind of energy, like you say, more of a focus on practical and practical elements of finding peace. And I find that really interesting. So.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely the one of the major themes coming up this year for everyone. And it's going to be a year to resolve past issues with family, friends, all kinds of relationships. Going to be a year to come to peace and harmony within ourselves, to make some decisions in our lives to live more peaceably and to have more harmony. It doesn't mean that this is going to totally resolve everything for everybody peaceably, and the world isn't probably going to come to this major time of peace with no conflict, but it is an example of how we can move into peace and harmony in our world. So it's a great time to be paying attention. You were talking too, Catherine, about how people can know what their Chinese year is. So just quickly, there are 12 years in the Chinese cycle of animals, so 12 different animals. And that means that we start with rat as the kind of nominal beginning of the Chinese zodiac based on the lunar calendar. We have those 12 animals. Today, as Catherine said, we'll talk about rat, ox, tiger, and rabbit fairly quickly. And you can figure out your year. Best thing to do is check online. Just search on an internet site that has the dates. Wikipedia is a great one. And it tells you when to start looking, because the tricky thing is, being a lunar calendar, the beginning of the Chinese year, Chinese New Year's approximately, is means that even if you are born in a certain year, you might have a different Chinese zodiac animal than other people if you're born in January, February, and sometimes even March, depending on
because
the
it
year.
doesn't start on a specific date every year. It's
that's right.
The lunar calendar.
Exactly. So it's not working in complete conjunction with the solar calendar that we use. And, it's very easy to find out. And it really is only those people, January, February, sometimes March, very rarely, I believe.
Right.
So, for instance, this year, if your birthday falls between January 1st and February 19th, you will have, you will know that if you were born in this year.
You would be born in the year of the horse up until, so it won't be 2015. You'd be born in the year of the horse if you were born, any babies that are born in that period still, even though it's 2015.
Thank you, Catherine. You took the words right out of my mouth and made them much better.
Well, I knew exactly what you were going for, so. Okay, so let's get right to it. We're talking rat, ox, tiger, and rabbit. So I guess rat's the first one on the...
Yes, well, this is a much better year for rat. Rat is probably has the hardest time in year of the horse. So as we move into year of the sheep, much less resistance in rat's world. It's a really good time to start looking at what you learned in horse year, because that's what horse year has been for rat, to kind of lie low, look at what happened. And moving into sheep year of the sheep brings much better opportunity. It's just a much easier time. You're probably noticing a lot less resistance already.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm a rat, so I can't tell you how happy I am to hear this.
Rats are family people, and rats are considered to be very intelligent in the Chinese mythology. They're very good at business, good at making decisions, and also very caring for family members. So they not just working for their own benefit, but also for their extended family. This year, hard work, paying attention to money, and also looking out for places where you might get stung. Things are not always as they appear to be. And this is a good year for rat to make sure that all the contracts, all the agreements, reading the fine print, everything is looked into deeply. So this is a year to look below the surface for rat. That's what we're saying. And it shows up especially in the world of business. Really important to concentrate on your communication. Things can be misunderstood between rat and others in sheep year. So anytime that you're trying to express something and it's important that the message gets across, check with the person that you're talking to. Check and make sure that they've understood what you're saying. It's always good advice no matter what, but especially this year. So while things are much better, lots of opportunities coming rat's way, just be clear what you want and keep things on the up and up. Watch out for hidden agendas and people not speaking their truth or having kind of another motivation than seems to be there on the surface.
Good advice. Excellent.
Good year for creativity for everybody. This is a year for working on things that bring us peace as we work on them. Creative projects always help with that, getting us in line with our deeper gifts, our ability to create.
And that's for everyone?
That's for everybody, yes. Those
cool.
Those hobbies are important. So, shall we move on to ox?
Absolutely.
Ox is the next animal. Ox is an animal that has very strong tendencies to work with the history, with past. They don't like change. very strong, powerful animal that does not like to move ahead very quickly. So this is not an easy year for ox, just like last year wasn't easy for rat. Ox is probably the hardest hit in year of the sheep, and it's not terrible. It's not a terrible year because sheep doesn't like to bring terrible things to people. But ox, because sheep is a very gentle animal and ox is very strong and powerful, ox tends to move in with too much strength and to bowl people over and to create disturbances. So it's easy for ox to misjudge the what would you say, the atmosphere, the environment, what's going on, and to step into creating obstinate and oppositional reactive behaviors just by misjudging the calmness and the peace that's required this year. So the best word for ox is to just lay low and keep that basic, easygoing personality that ox has, rather than moving into pushing too hard or demanding too much or being difficult in any way. It will backfire all the time.
I see an interesting thing here. Sheep year is kind of bringing in peace, and we kind of talked about this in the longer version, about how it's not about the history of why things don't work, whereas sheep is more about, like, practically speaking. The example that stands out for me was, kids are hungry, feed the kids. So I'm thinking ox might have that history, like, you're moving into that too quickly. We need to look at how this all happened. Would that be where ox might have a problem?
And ox tends to want to assign blame, and to have this whole belief in cause and effect. And this is a good year for ox to move beyond that, to create an equilibrium and to move into doing what needs to be done, which actually they're very good at, but without that aspect of blame or holding grudges. Ox is good at holding grudges. It's like, the elephant is also aligned with Year of the Ox. We know that elephants never forget, neither does ox. It's time to overlook other people's dysfunctions and just concentrate on the hard work of getting the practical things done. That's where ox and sheep meet, in the practicality.
Okay. So we're going to move into Year of the Tiger in the Year of the Sheep.
That's right. So Year of the Tigers are going to do fabulously this year. Everything supports that basic creativity, that intuition, that place where tiger connects with what is kind of the connection with divine energy coming into this realm, and how to do that kind of in a practical way, which is what a sheep's looking for. This is a great time for tiger to do that. The only thing tiger needs to be careful is that everything has a solid foundation. So leaping too soon is not the very best, but they're still very lucky. So not a good time to rely too much on luck or to take shortcuts. Got to check out the details, take nothing for granted, move into working with what has been started previously and has usually a group energy working together, and tiger touches that with a magic wand. But not great time to be impulsive. That's spontaneous, yes. Impulsive, no.
And making sure that when they leap, the foundation is solid, that what they're leaping to.
That's right. That they have, they're pretty sure that they can land on all four paws. and not slip off into the water or something like that.
Right, right. Okay. And so then now, rabbit?
It's a great year for rabbit too. Rabbit and sheep are both very peaceful beings. They practice harmonious relations. They care about other people's comfort, sometimes a little too much. Rabbit brings such a touch of elegance to whatever they do. They bring things to a higher vibration. They expect people to be on their best behavior, and so the people often are when they're around rabbit. They also like that social interaction. They love to party, and this is going to happen in sheep year. It's a good year for creating good social relationships. There'll probably be lots of opportunities to attend events and parties, get-togethers spontaneously, and also by planning. So go with your friend the rabbit. Luck is really shining all around rabbit everywhere, and you can, if you're not a rabbit, you can hang around with rabbit and get some of the sparkle brushing off on you too.
Cool.
So rabbit, it's because rabbit already practices finding harmony and contentment in relationships. So the skills they develop in their world are very practical and useful in Year of the Sheep.
Right.
So this year, luck is with them. It's a good year for rabbit to learn something new and also to get together with good friends. Rabbit's ability to bring order and new opportunities into the new opportunities that are showing up makes it a good place for everybody to be around rabbit at this time and to follow what rabbit suggests in terms of, what would we say? If rabbit says do it this way, rabbit will be right.
So this year being the year of the sheep and supporting practical ways to, usher in peace. Yes. We're going to be looking at ways to how are we going to create that, and we've kind of already established that we don't need to go back through all the past and figure out why things happened. We know what it is. So we take ox's strength and tiger's willingness to leap, but making sure the foundation is solid. And then you have rabbit in there who's able to create harmony and peace in these gatherings. This could be a really good year for I can see that how the patterns, if we let everybody be who they really are, they can bring these qualities to, we're only talking about the 4, and there's 7 billion people on the planet, so chances are we've got a pretty good mix of this.
That's right, we do. And this is the time of group efforts, grassroots enterprises. So you can see just from how you've put that together, Catherine, is how we can start working together with the best skills and gifts of each of the animals in the zodiac. So the more that we concentrate on group efforts in this year and years upcoming, the more we're going to see success in our life. Mm-hmm. It's a good time to start learning how to get along with people, and it's going to be very obvious very quickly. Yes. In all of our endeavors this year, what works and what doesn't work. Like, it'll show up right away. If we're taking the wrong tack with people, we can shift in a second and everything will change with that. So for everyone, looking at how best to get along with each other while being authentic and also bringing ourselves into the picture, looking after ourselves as well. Sheep actually is well taken care of. So this is a year when our personal lives can be well taken care of too. But it needs to be part of the bigger picture of working with other people.
So we're talking about collaboration and harmony consensus and mm-hmm. So letting go of all the old manipulation and overpowering people, dominance, that stuff's not going to work in a sheep year.
It's not, and it's a great year to figure out where we have hidden agendas, things that we might not even know are going on in our subconscious, blocks that are there, that have been there since childhood, perhaps before we even started working with our conscious mind as we do as adults, things that were patterns that we picked up from our family, et cetera, et cetera. We can start letting go of some of the things that don't work for us, like training that we got, to fit in and to really, and to, just do as we're told. This is a year to bring ourselves into the picture, to become aware of our deepest motivations, and to be very honest with ourselves to just clean up our act.
Yeah. Wow. This sounds fantastic. And so I really, I think that concludes the first 4, and we're going to focus on the next 4 in our next segment. Debbi, is there anything else you wanted to include in this portion?
No, I think that's been quite full, and I think I said all that I needed to say. I'm looking forward to talking next about dragon, snake, horse, and sheep itself.
Awesome.
In the next segment, yes.
Yeah, well, that is fantastic. It's always fun to explore the patterns of our lives in this way, and I really appreciate you doing this with us. For those of you listening, you can check for the links for the next segment and go back if you wish to look at the longer portion where we talked about the full sheep year and the ending of horse year and so forth. All the links are on lgrcc.com. Until next time, take care. We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.